I'm Keziah Young, and this is On the Mat, a YouTube space where we sit and talk about the many layers of life, particularly grief and the impermanent nature of our being. Take a moment, sit with me. I'm so grateful to be in this moment, to drop into the mat, to pause and give my life, some attention, some thought, some reflection, to be able to be in this moment with you. And it is a great practice. And when I say great, I mean responsibility. Not like, yay, this is great. No, it is a great as in effortful. It is a great practice to be committed to continuously showing up, like right now, every Sunday, or my podcast every Wednesday. It is a great practice to be committed and continuously show up to offer something. And to be inside the full responsibility of that. So in this moment on the mat, I want to just say I'm very grateful that today I'm committed to practice. That in this moment I am here. And I'm grateful to be here, like not just here sitting on the mat talking, but inside this life. And that makes me think about Malcolm Jamal Warner, who died a week ago today. And the reality that our being is really like the movement of the ocean. He died swimming, a current pulled him, and our existence in this human form is like the movement of the ocean. It sweeps in and sweeps out. It rushes in and rushes out. And as impermanent and transitory as all of that is, there is a flow of calm and peace, even in the midst of all of the stuff that might be circling underneath. There is a calm and a peace that can come with loss and grief and the gravity of both. So in this moment, as I'm being inside the responsibility of showing up, I'm grateful because it is also a moment to drop in and to allow the ebbs and flows of life to inform how I'm living, to know that my life in human form is finite, that time is the one thing no one gets back. How am I showing up today? How am I going to allow the things that cause sadness and angst to actually elevate me in some way? Sounds a little like counterintuitive, right? Why would sadness elevate me? Why would hardship, what is there good to see in hardship or pain? And I think about contrast. Contrast is real. We will not only have one way of being. If we're happy, we know that sadness is somewhere. If we're sad, we know that happiness is somewhere. If there's life, we know that there's also death, that there's a simultaneity of happenings inside of life. And so in these moments where we drop in, access some stillness and pause, we can be in the spaciousness of that moment and return ourselves to a stillness. Like if there's anxiety or agitation, instead of hopping on the train of that and going, we can see it coming, feel like the wind of it, and then just drop in and say, life is real. And the happenings of life are real. The unknown is real. My grief is real. My joy is real. My gratitude is real. And I want to turn and go to the place of quiet stillness so that I can rest and recover from the weight of it all, so that I could turn to myself and give myself what I extend to others. These moments allow us to practice being, because not everyone will take the time, the pause, to listen to their thoughts, to feel their feelings, to access their heart, to encounter clarity, wisdom, knowledge, understanding. We think, I'll get to that when, but now is the when. Now is the time. Now is the only moment. Anything else after this moment is a gift. This moment is a gift. And when we see or hear about people passing away, especially if we perceive it as being untimely, it reminds us that that is what happens, that things can happen seemingly out of time to them, to us. And so how are we spending the time that we have? What are we cultivating? What are we bringing to the mat? What are we investigating within ourselves? I invite us to, as we, step into a new week, I invite us to contemplate what it would be like to be just a little more present in our lives. A little more really in the moment, accessing the fullness of ourselves. What would that be like? How would it shift us? So perhaps when you wake up or before you go to bed, you can give thought to, what is it like for me to practice dropping in a bit more today? To be a bit more below the surface as opposed to on the surface, but to drop in deep in our lives to where the preciousness rests, that makes us awake to the reality that time is not a guarantee. I invite us to contemplate that, to give thought to how we can deepen into our lives and ourselves, to be more awake, to be more present with ourselves, and in turn with others. And how does that change our lives? I really want to hold the gravity of the many losses that happened in the month of July, and the many aching hearts that exist because of those losses and because of the various gravities in their own life, the various things that pull and tug on them that cause angst and dis-ease. I want to send some energy of breathing space and love, because we could all use a bit more of both, breathing space and love. And may we have somewhere to turn when we find that we need to lay it all down, because we can't keep carrying the load forever. So I invite you to keep coming back and seeing what this pause does for you, what dropping in can offer you, because that's what this is about. It's sort of a yoga for the soul, if you will. Because life isn't all butterflies, rainbows, and cherry blossoms, right? There is the real weight of grief and loss and change and worry and the unknown. And here on the mat, we get to just turn toward that and look at it, because it needs to be looked at. It's like begging us to give it attention and time, give it its due. I find myself saying about things, when we give it its due, we become free of its holding. So thank you for pausing with me on this Sunday, turning toward your life and yourself and dropping in, deepening, being more present, and giving yourself your due. I appreciate your presence. And if you haven't already, listen to the podcast On the Path with me, Keziah Young, or not. Either way, life is happening now for all of us, and we don't know when the now is over. So may we be more awake to the moment, more present in the moment, more rooted in something rich for ourselves, and in connection and closeness with others. So thank you again, and always.